Making money while you sleep has become a punchline. But what if I told you it's already happening for people who've figured out how to use AI the right way? Most people still believe they need to grind harder, hustle more, push until they break. But what if the real money was hiding in the lazy path? And no, I'm not talking about some shady get-rich-quick scheme. I'm talking about systems, automations, AI models that do the heavy lifting, while you learn to think like an owner, not an employee. But there's a detail no one talks about. What separates people who just binge content from those who actually profit with AI is invisible. And I'll show you what that is today. If you're done feeling stuck, if you're tired of watching others win while you feel left behind, this video is your blueprint. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll walk away with a real plan you can execute, even if you're starting from zero. Quick ask, this channel is about to hit a major milestone. And if you believe it's time to stop surviving and start building, your subscription is part of that shift. Every new subscriber helps this message reach people who need it. And in return, you'll get videos like this delivered straight to your feed, without depending on luck or algorithms. Jake is 32. Lives in Ohio. He's not an influencer. You won't find him on YouTube or TikTok. He works quietly from home, no audience, no personal brand, just 3 passive income streams powered entirely by AI, and zero need for exposure, charisma, or clout. 2 years ago, Jake was delivering groceries, barely making $2,000 a month. Credit cards maxed out. Mentally drained. He kept hearing gurus talk about 5 a.m. routines and pushing harder. All it did was make him feel more like a failure. Then, one night, he stumbled on a video about AI automations, and something clicked. If this can work for me, maybe I don't have to keep pretending to be someone I'm not. Today, Jake runs multiple digital services built around AI, faceless YouTube channels, no-code websites, back-end automation for small businesses. His main tools: ChatGPT, Midjourney, Synthesia, Zapier. Most of the work is done by systems. Jake just oversees. He now averages over $12,000 a month. And the craziest part? No one in his neighborhood knows. He doesn't flaunt it. He doesn't post about it. He just lives. Jake's story isn't about luck. It's about recognizing something most people miss. The rules of the game have changed. And the harder you cling to old ways, the more you delay your freedom. Now that you've met Jake, let me show you exactly where he started. It's simpler than you think. There's a silent trap that keeps millions stuck without even realizing it, believing that direct effort equals productivity, that the harder you grind, the more you deserve. It's a mindset deeply rooted in culture. It's what makes someone work 10 hours a day, come home drained, and still feel like they're falling behind. Jake escaped this cycle when he understood something uncomfortable but true. The system rewards those who build leverage, not those who do everything by hand. While most people pride themselves on being multitaskers, the highest earners are quietly focused on building systems that run without them. They're not running faster. They're walking on machines that move by themselves. The difference is in the nature of the effort. Smart effort builds assets. Blind effort builds exhaustion. And artificial intelligence has become the perfect tool to amplify that gap. It lets you delegate execution to systems, freeing up mental space to think sharper, create faster, and scale smarter. But there's a part most people miss. The longer you cling to manual work, the further you drift from the things that actually matter: time, focus, and scale. That's why the first step in this ladder doesn't require genius or experience. It requires vision and a bit of courage to step off the assembly line. And I'll show you what that looks like next. There's a fundamental gap between those still trading time for money and those quietly turning systems into invisible assets. That gap can be boiled down to a formula: short-term effort, long-term leverage. In simple terms, using today's time to build something that keeps paying you even while you sleep. Artificial intelligence makes this more possible than ever. And here's the key: AI's real value isn't in replacing humans. It's in amplifying the output of the few. It's like hiring 10 full-time assistants who work 24/7 for pennies. Once you grasp this, you stop thinking like a worker and start acting like a strategist. Productive laziness isn't about doing nothing. It's about being ruthless with where you spend your energy. The productive lazy doesn't aim to look busy. They aim to be effective. They build systems. They automate processes. They identify repetitive tasks and hand them off to bots. And when something still needs to be done manually, they document it so they never have to do it twice. That's the new game. In 2025, the internet will belong to those who understand this mindset. The market won't reward hustle. It will reward leverage. Which is why, from here on, I'll walk you through the 5 laziest and smartest ways to make money with AI, starting from zero. The first one looks simple, but it hides a serious advantage. I'll explain in just a second. When Jake started his first AI project, it wasn't some bold, groundbreaking idea. It was small, simple, almost invisible. He started designing YouTube thumbnails using AI. At the time, he didn't even know this was a real job. He found out by accident during a visit to a friend who managed YouTube channels. There, he met a guy whose only job was to craft high-performing images that drive clicks. Not the videos, just the thumbnails. That's when it clicked. If a good image drives more views, and views generate revenue, then that image has real economic value. Jake kept it simple. He studied viral thumbnail patterns, used tools like Midjourney and Photoshop to model the best, and started offering his services. At first, he charged very little. But as his skills grew, he began earning $200 to $400 a day, with fewer than 8 deliveries. That's just the first step. The same logic applies to the next 4 paths. Each one requires a bit more skill, but they all follow the same principle: low startup cost, controlled effort, growing upside. The 5 steps are AI-powered blog creation with SEO, faceless YouTube channels, website building with no-code tools, and finally, AI automation for businesses. But there's a critical detail in this order. It's not just about ease, it's about learning rhythm. If you try to start at the top without mastering the basics, you'll stall. Jake didn't skip steps. That's why his income scaled with consistency. So now, let's break down each of these 5 levels, with logic, clarity, and real-world action. And we begin with thumbnails. Simple on the surface, but hiding a big, overlooked opportunity. The first path, AI-powered thumbnail design, relies more on strategic vision than graphic skill. The edge comes from understanding what truly grabs attention on YouTube. Every second, thousands of videos compete for clicks. A strong thumbnail is a silent invitation that wins that battle. That's where AI becomes a real weapon. The tools are accessible: Midjourney to generate visuals, Photoshop or Canva for final touches, and ChatGPT to brainstorm based on viral channel data. But the real advantage isn't in the tools, it's in the process. Jake, for example, built a personal vault of high-performing thumbnails. He used them as references, fed them into GPT, and asked for optimized variations based on proven patterns. This feedback loop, analyze, model, deliver, turned into a sellable service. And here's the practical move. Instead of waiting for clients, Jake used the audit-to-deal method. He picked a niche, like finance channels, ran a quick thumbnail audit, recorded a 60-second video with improvement suggestions, and sent it for free. The offer came after. Value was proven before the pitch. That's why it worked. The same pattern applies to the other income paths. Blog creation with AI follows a similar framework. Study top-performing articles, reframe with ChatGPT, and align for search. Faceless YouTube channels require strong scripts, layered B-rolls, and synthetic voices with a natural tone. Website building leverages tools like Framer or Reloom with copy generated by GPT. Business automation combines APIs, bots, and process logic to save time for small business owners. The difference is sophistication, but the structure stays the same. Analyze, model, deliver, position. The real question isn't, does this work? It's, which of these makes the most sense for your starting point? Because they all work. But only one will keep you consistent long enough to build real leverage. And that's exactly what the next part will push you to confront. Jake kept moving forward with consistent, low-friction experiments. Not because he was a genius, but because he realized early that waiting for the perfect moment was just a clever form of procrastination. Meanwhile, Marcos, childhood friend, same intelligence, same starting income, stayed stuck in the loop, watched every video, took all the notes, but never committed to one idea long enough to see results. 18 months later, the gap wasn't subtle anymore. Jake had recurring automation contracts running hands-free. He built websites with his own AI-based templates. His pace was calm, but his systems kept growing. Marcos, on the other hand, was still trading time for a paycheck, tired, stuck, and quietly ashamed. They started from the same place, but the gap widened through one simple decision: move forward without guarantees. This is where it gets uncomfortable. Most people don't fail from lack of knowledge. They fail from unmanaged doubt. They wait for certainty that doesn't exist. And in the process, they burn energy where no return is coming. In a world where AI offers scale, speed, and near-zero cost, sticking to manual, linear effort isn't just inefficient, it's backward. And the danger is, it doesn't feel wrong. No one warns you. No one tells you you're falling behind. It just feels like nothing's working. But things are moving. The world is shifting. And you either reposition or you watch from the sidelines. After everything you've seen so far, the most dangerous move now is doing nothing. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. This path doesn't demand genius, connections, or capital. It demands focus on one step at a time, and small, daily execution. That's why the next 24 hours matter more than you think. Pick one of the 5 paths. Just one. Don't try to chase all of them. If you're visually inclined, start with thumbnails. If you write well, go with SEO blogs. If you think in structure, build a test site in Framer. The question isn't which one looks most profitable. It's which one you can stick with for 30 days without self-sabotage. Build a tiny sample, 3 thumbnails, 1 AI blog, a simple mock site, something you can show. The difference between those who start and those who stay stuck is that one group creates outside their head. And once that's done, share it, even if no one buys yet. Just building a mini portfolio, doing an audit, recording a proposal, that already puts you ahead of most people. That's the real beginning. Create, share, repeat. No hype, no spotlight, just quiet execution. And if you do that in the next 24 hours, even if it feels small, you'll break the invisible inertia that traps so many. The real world doesn't reward thought. It rewards turning thought into something tangible. Jake wasn't smarter. He wasn't more talented. And he definitely wasn't the most driven. What he did was simple. He stopped consuming and started building. With tools anyone can access. But with a quiet consistency most people never sustain. Learn, apply, refine. Today, his pace feels unreal to those still trapped in the old model. He works less, earns more, and no one notices. His wealth doesn't show in photos. It's in the time he owns, the choices he doesn't have to explain, the freedom he built without ever stepping on stage. This video wasn't made to impress you. It was made to remind you there's a path, and you don't need permission to walk it. If you made it this far, you've already crossed the invisible line that separates passive watchers from quiet builders. The rest is yours. And if someone you care about needs this kind of silent breakthrough too, share this before they give up on themselves.